together sometime. You, me, and Chris,
Mm-hmm.
and your mom, and then we eat, have a nice restaurant.
Well, we have to ask my mom about it because she's handling a lot of people's health, and I have a hard time even.
Well, you're saying go to a restaurant, or you're saying start a restaurant? Oh, go to a restaurant. Okay, yeah. So just out of curiosity, Richard, I'm trying to figure out if my dad has been to like places in Greater Philly or like sort of like the ring around the city of Philly. So maybe if you could tell me about some of the places that you've been to in the Greater Philly area on like Savannah's behalf, or even to visit Ellie or whatever her name is in the hospital. Have you visited her recently?
You mean Lily?
Yeah, Lily. Yeah.
I haven't gone to a restaurant in Philly.
Yeah.
But I don't know if you want to go up there.
Well, no. You've been there before, though, right? I mean, what's it look like?
I've never eaten that there.
Right, but the thing is, all I'm asking you is to tell me about the layout of the land. Like what's there? Are there bike lanes? Are there a lot of trees? Are there a lot of tall buildings? Good.
A lot of tall buildings.
Hmm.
There's the Liberty Bell.
Do you like the way that Philly does planning better than Lancaster or Reading?
I don't know.
Okay, that's fine. Now, yeah, see if you can talk about sobriety. Do you know anything in particular about Reading Hospital that that my dad might know about? Because I mean, he's been to all the different hospitals in the Reading area when he was a doctor.
Yeah, Reading Hospital was like really like in its day they've had the iron lung and
yeah. Oh, yeah.
children with polio.
Yeah. Did they have chaplains there before too, like nurse chaplains, like they have now?
Not that I know of, but they had nuns or at St. Joe's.
Mm-hmm. Oh, nuns at St. Joe. Yeah, but that makes sense. I mean, because they have the Bernardine Sisters nearby at Alvernia, OSF, Order of Sisters of Friends.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
But yeah. Yeah.
I would say they rank it pretty well.
Yeah. Well, what do you think of Catholicism? Just out of curiosity, I mean, like in its large presence in the Reading area, like because of course Alvernia was like everything to Laura, and she would have me look up really obscure theologians at the library there.
Alvernia.
Yeah, Alvernia, it's Catholic. Yeah. The Bernardine Sisters are there, like the retired ones. That's where my old principal from our Mother Perpetual Help went after she retired.
I love Alvernia.
Yeah, and Sister Ann Damien was like a really vicious nun. Like when she was disciplining people, but I received a huge lot of her discipline. I'll just say that.
Yeah.
Now, of course, if it weren't for her, then I wouldn't be who I am, and I wouldn't have the kind of conscience that I have now, if you will. But yeah. So Catholic school wasn't all that bad. Although I would have loved to have like the kind of services that public school had. Yeah. So yeah, and then of course, the Catholic Charities in Reading. It's run by the Diocese of Allentown, who, by the way, have a lot of ethnic affiliated Catholic churches, like Polish Catholic churches, Ukrainian Catholic churches, stuff like that. And they were going to close them all maybe like 10 years ago, but then they were petitioned not to, so they didn't. Yeah.
Yeah, They still close a few every year. Though.
Yeah, I know. There's just no way they can keep them all. Yeah, and then of course there's those Orthodox ones with like the onion tops, the golden onion tops. Richard, do you remember seeing those in the coal regions? Those churches with like the onion tops? No.
they
Yeah. Was that in Frankville or was that in Ashland? I don't remember. It might have been Ashland.
There's about several of them.
Yeah.
And then some of them have gold on the top too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Richard, that first neighborhood that Savannah was living in the greater Philly area, what did it look like? Were the houses like really close together? Did it look like one of those places they show on CBS where like?
never been there to visit.
Well,
What?
I was.
Oh, okay. Well then, what did you go to in Greater Philly the one time? When you went to see her, did you just meet her somewhere?
Who was that?
No,
Oh, okay.
no.
I'm talking about the 300-pound black woman that he's helping out. She's
That's not 300 pounds.
I know, and she's a felon, but she has 3 kids, so she needs help. Basically,
Well,
that's it in a nutshell.
the problem for her is, they were the last to come to Philadelphia. And the
Yeah.
settlers
So
were there.
but Dad, do you think you could psychoanalyze the situation? Because like I also want you to psychoanalyze Tara as well. Richard, can you tell them a little bit about Tara as well?
Usually their father deserts them, right? That's what they have.
No, Savannah, she was my aide, but she basically, she told me that she had a bill to pay. I offered to pay for it, and then it became a car. And then I said, well, I can't pay for a car. But then it ended up, we were looking around for a car on what's it called? On the computer.
CarMax?
Every
Or-
time we
Carfax.
Something like that.
the guy would sell it from under us and then tell us after we was almost there, he would tell us that he sold it, and that happened to us multiple times until she decided to go to a dealer. And I said I can't pay for a car at a dealer, that's way too expensive. So then we did. She promised me that if I bought the car, that she would transfer everything to her cousin. Well, that never happened. She stuck it in my name, and then I ended up having to pay for it. Then she wanted another car because that car broke down because it was a lemon to begin with, and then so she had me rent a car, and then told me she was going to keep the car until I decided to buy another car. But I just pretended to buy the second car, and then she took the car and wouldn't give it back to me. I said, look, this is twice as much money. So it ended up being, I was that I'm helping her with her rent, her children, everything. Oh my goodness, I'm practically supporting her, with everything.
Yeah. Well, she obviously doesn't have a support system that she might have had if she did everything the way it's supposed to, but we don't know her whole history, we don't know if she had a bad life as a child and had no support. But as far as stealing, there's a lot of stealing that goes on in Philadelphia. But
well, she's not originally from Philadelphia. She was from Lancaster. Oh, originally she was from Philly, but then she moved to Lancaster. Then she wanted to go back to Philly. So then she lives in Philly now. But yeah, her childhood was, her mother wasn't exactly an honest person, but she she tried to be honest, but then her dad, I guess he would do everything she wanted to, and I guess I reminded her of her dad, so then she used me like she used her dad. But then her dad went to jail. I don't know why. She didn't tell me why. I think it was from stealing. He would steal for her.
And there you have her habit where it came from, probably came from her father.
Yeah. Plus she has no super ego. It's like she doesn't think twice about the fact that I probably spent like $150,000 on her because she doesn't have any super ego. She just thinks everything and anything should be hers, and that's it. But
Yeah.
she has no off button when it comes to, thinking about other people. I mean, like, she has a personality that seems to care about you, but she really doesn't. She doesn't think anything is wrong with using me to the point of me dying from being used.
Well, a big part of it is they learn to be con artists, because con artists is just another form of stealing, where you convince the person that you need help, or you have something that
Yeah,
you're very interested in, and you're not going to pay them anything at all. So she probably got that example and continue to find anybody that'll give her the money and never pays it back. But having the children and all, she should be able to get considerable funds to take care of them, because they're considered first in any disputes. Children need to grow up.
Well, I helped her with her children with everything from Christmas presents to birthday presents to school clothing to everything. I don't know. It's because she didn't have any way of getting the stuff, and so then I bought it. But then it's like, and then she got me like $300 worth of tolls and tickets.
Yeah.
Not 300, 3,000. 8,000.
Yeah, so you got notifications about that, but of course they were real, not scams, and they came in the mail, not as texts, right?
Yeah. By the time she wouldn't care whether she got a ticket. She just didn't say anything until it came in the mail. She said, Savannah, I said, I'm leaving you drunk in court. You have to tell me about the ticket. She would tell me the tickets after. Sometimes, but other times she didn't. Like, she'd run the toll booth. She'd just run it. And in other words, she'd go right to the toll booth lights, and it didn't.
Yeah.
It didn't.
So do you think she had a tendency towards bad behavior, or do you think she was just absent-minded, similar to Tara?
Oh, she didn't care because she actually thought that I was stupid.
Oh.
And then she would yell at me like as though I was brainless, And,
Well, how close is she to trying to get help for being like neurodivergent and possibly getting on disability and stuff? Like,
you don't want to do disability.
No? Yeah. Well, that's because you can't afford anywhere to live while living on it. Yeah. I mean, unless you wait a good number of years and get put to the front of the line. But see, I think they have like family versions of what I have, But see, she's going to have to go through a whole separate process. She's going to have to come up with lots of documents for her kids, right? Dad?
Yeah, there's always a lot to fill out, and then all the major government agencies have records of how much you make in a year. And if you make more than a certain amount compared to your children's needs and your needs, they will give you monthly checks and food stamps to cover what you need to be healthy.
Yeah, the subsidies, they don't really cover a lot. I mean, she was on assistance to pay the electric bill. Then when she was in Lancaster, she would leave all the lights on because I was paying the electric bill. And I said, look, you can't leave all the lights on. I said, you want me to pay the electric bill? I mean, the government is supporting you in the paying the electric bill. If you keep doing that, I said, they're going to take you off. They said that they don't have enough these I don't know what they were like segments of payments, and they said they didn't have enough. They were packets. They were payment packets. They were running out, and they said they're not going to be able to support her anymore. And she wondered why she wasn't able to get it a second time. Well, they seen how she treats the electric. She doesn't, because she thought, well, I don't care. He's paying for it, so I'm going to just leave it. She would leave all the lights on, all the TVs, everything on when she left, and I'd have to go in and turn them off. And I said, somebody can't do that.
Yeah, well, that's I guess there's just a lot of people that don't want to do the bureaucracy involved, and they find other tricky ways to get the money.
Well, see, he was talking about leaving the lights and the TV on, but see, that's the thing. That seems like a sign of autism because or ADHD, because see, my mom gripes when I leave the cabinets open so that I know that everything's there, or if I leave things out on the table so that I know that they're there. Otherwise, I forget I have those things. But like Savannah seems to have her own weird ways of arranging things in her mind. If she doesn't leave the lights and the TV on, then she's not going to have them on when she needs them on. See, that's she doesn't want it. She's trying to empty her mind of having to remember to turn them on.
Yeah. It's not just the people without any money that get different support systems that are faked. Some of them are fake, and
Yeah.
but even my uncle, who was a priest for 50 years, he used to occasionally come back for vacation or whatever in Center City, Philadelphia. And as soon as he came back the one time, the car was stolen that very night. A new car that they had to get because the other one broke down. And as soon as she replaced it a few weeks later, they came and stole it again during the night.
Oh God. So that's why you guys have been saying that you have a nice car in Philly and it's gone in 10 minutes.
It seems to have improved a bit because I don't hear as many robberies now.
Well, yeah. I mean, there's definitely been more of a demand for clamp down and if you will, Republican sense of law and order and stuff like that, if you will.
They're more concerned. The more people who have decent amount of money to spend, they'll get people chasing them. That They want the money.
Yeah.
Well, I feel sorry for her, even if she did do all that stuff. Because she's stuck with these children that she had out of wedlock.
Yeah. Talk about all the different
They're really hard
boyfriends.
to deal with children.
Yeah.
Her children are really hard to deal with. And I mean, I watched them for an hour and I wanted to
Well, see, that's the thing. You know, if you have sex with a psycho, you're gonna have psycho children, right? So the thing is, why does she always go with all these abusive boyfriends?
Well, she only went with two. But apparently the one guy, he's a Muslim and he wanted to be with her. And he was a more decent one. The other one don't even bother her. His two children. And so then she's left to support him. But then I guess she gets support. Unless maybe she gets support. I doubt she doesn't really get support now. But she can claim it with her taxes. That's one thing. And then, but she's not a bad person. I just don't think she doesn't have a conscience, that's all.
Well, okay. So compare and contrast that with like Valerie, for example. Why didn't Valerie use you as much? Yeah. Why'd you get along with her so much better than Savannah?
What's that again? I didn't hear.
Why'd you get along with Valerie so much better than Savannah in terms of that? You know, Valerie stopped using you, like she wasn't anywhere near as manipulative as Savannah.
Valerie did the same thing to me, but she claimed to be a Christian. I'm not saying she isn't. I don't know. Then she would have limits. Savannah never had limits. So, and then what's ironic is Valerie came from Africa. But what's ironic is she used to say, "Well, don't let that girl use you," and then she was using me too.
It's good. It's good. So Liberia, to be exact, was where she was from, right?
Yeah, but yes, I need to get this stuff. So just move this over to
What do you need?
the glasses there.
Oh,
Move this over there, not that over there.
oh, you don't want a class?
No, I just want you to move this.
Okay, that's fine. Oh, you want to see the sunlight? Okay, fine. All right.
The whole thing with Valerie was she had a Christian family.
Yeah, and I went to the church too. I mean, they were definitely very the very devout kind of Africans, like the kind who have been, like converted by missionaries, and then of course, one of her family had become a pastor too. I saw, right?
Yeah.
And they were having a house church. It was a very close knit house church, and they were very huggy with each other. At the peacetime or whatever they call it in Protestant world. Yeah. Yeah. So then why do you think Tara's leaving you alone now?
Because I basically made her face the fact that she basically bashes me, and I made her face the fact that that a lot of what she says about me is baseless and just false accusations.
Yeah.
And then I really dug into her hard because I'm just tired of being bashed by her. But Tara's a different story, and in a way, you have to feel sorry for her too, because her brain is all screwed up from having like she has delusions and
Yeah. So
and she's autistic.
yeah. Is it part of her delusions that she thinks she's a good mom?
Yeah, she thinks she's a really good mom, except her kid, her two children, they're autistic. So then the one he got a scholarship to go to college for 4 years for free, and then he just didn't want to go anymore and stopped.
Just you stay within it. I'll take a little break.
Okay.
Because he sees his mom not doing anything, he didn't really want to do anything. So he dropped out of college and decided he was just going to be a bum. And and you know, he's very smart, but he almost received a 4-year degree, but I think he had like three or four classes, and that's it, or maybe one or two. And he just didn't want to go anymore. So the scholarship went down the toilet.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so Tara always says, well, her children are made stupid by her mom, but it's not her mom, it's her. She doesn't care about her children the way a mom should, because she's always getting drunk and always part of the ruckus, and she accuses people of. She has this rape mentality. She thinks that all guys are molesters and rapists, and she thinks all women are victims from them.
Mm-hmm.
And she falsely accuses me.
Real quick, Dad. Any comments on Tara and her past? You did hear all that, right, Dad?
That wasn't very long. She was more predictable what she would do.
Yeah.
With the little income, she would just try to find some source. But
okay. Yeah.
Not break the law.
Oh.
Tara has like a Christian ideas. But
you mean she has like a savior complex, doesn't she? Because that's what I see.
But
she thinks she's special enough to be delivering you a message all the time.
She feels that she's and I'm going to hell. And
yeah, when she's harassing you on the phone, she thinks she's evangelizing to you. She thinks she's doing you a favor. I think she's trying to get you to quote wake up so that you take care of her and stuff like that. Get her own place.
Yeah. I don't think she's a figure or anything like that, but she definitely thinks that she can do anything she wants and still have the way to heaven. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't matter if she has relationships with people, but then she doesn't really. I don't know. She says she doesn't like sex, and she feels that sex is bad, and she doesn't like marriage. I think she got married, but the guy, she nags people so bad that the guy punched her in the mouth and broke her jaw. She's like lambasting people until so tired of her that they can't deal with it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So she put him in jail because he broke her jaw. Mm-hmm. And then her dad said, well, anybody would break her jaw if they were around her. Mm-hmm. Not that he should have, but she really knows how to get under your skin and like try to push your buttons. Mm-hmm. She's like an expert at it. If there's anybody that could be the center of attention in a class, she could, because she would he would be the top bully. He would be able to make everybody suspect you of being the rottenest person on earth. And she reminds me of the class bully, right? Because she somehow feels that she's privileged in that no matter what she does, she's a Christian and everybody else is the devil.
Mm-hmm.
And
Thanks.
and everything he does is someone's fault.
Mm-hmm.
It's because my mom has and she calls her mom, her poor mom. One time this mailman said, there was a lady down the street. I don't know what she's doing. She's like raving, and I don't know. Like she's really loud, and I said, who is that lady? Like she seems so crazy, and so mom said, well, that's my daughter. She said, the mailman said, oh God bless you. You have to put up with that. Oh my goodness, it's horrible. You have to put up with that. I mean, God bless you. And so the mailman said, and then she had been in and out of the mental hospital, and they tried to put her on medication. She refuses to take it, but she'll smoke pot and drink beer and do cocaine or heroin, but she doesn't do the cocaine and heroin that like her son done, on the chemist.
Yeah.
But she'll smoke cigars and then
We're not having breakfast right now.
No, we're not having breakfast.
Yeah.
getting medical marijuana, so he got on disability just because he wanted to get the marijuana. And so he got himself a disability by getting shock treatments, continual shock treatments. And then, now he can have his pet drug, which is marijuana. And then because he's autistic and he's very quiet, she'll try to get her own way by screaming in his face. He can't stand loud noises. And neither can her other child.
Yeah.
She basically, when she was younger, she did have learning problems. She didn't learn to speak until way later in life. And her mom knew that there was something wrong, but she couldn't figure it out. But her mom's a very attentive mom. She's very, very likable, very considerate. Nothing like Tara. And then her mom had breast cancer. So, and apparently her cancer came back. And I don't know, but her mom is close to being 80 years old. And then her husband, Tara's husband, used to be a celebrity hound. He would chase celebrities down just to get their autograph or get some kind of memorabilia from them and collect it. And he would have hopes that he would become rich because he would sell that stuff. And then found out that it really didn't pay because he would try to sell the stuff. And a lot of times.
All right. I've been asking the AI questions, so let me just try and read out a lot of this output because there's a lot of output here. Yeah. Okay. So I asked, why do you suppose Tara blames everyone for her problems and is unaware that she abandoned her kids while drunk? And the AI responds, it's important to approach the question of why Tara blames everyone for her problems as unaware of abandoning her kids while drunk, with sensitivity and understanding of the complexity of human behavior. There are several potential psychological factors that could contribute to this behavior. Defense mechanisms, they mention denial, they mention projection. This involves attributing one's own unacceptable thoughts, feelings, or behaviors to others. By the way, Sergey got accused of doing that at the Pentecostal Charismatic Group by the only ministry trained person. And then rationalization. This is the process of creating seemingly logical reasons or excuses to justify unacceptable behavior. Tara might be rationalizing her actions by blaming external circumstances or other people, thus minimizing her personal responsibility. And then it mentions substance abuse and its effects, impaired judgment and memory. Tara's unawareness of abandoning her kids while drunk could be a direct result of alcohol-induced blackouts and memory lapses. Then emotional numbing. Substance abuse can also be a way of numbing or suppressing painful emotions. By blaming others, Tara may be avoiding confronting the underlying emotional issues that contribute to her substance abuse. Um, Self-centeredness. Substance abuse can lead to increased self-centeredness and a decreased ability to empathize with others. This can make it difficult for Tara to understand the impact of her actions on her children. And then it suggests personality disorders, trauma and past experiences, lack of self-awareness, uh, cognitive distortions, catastrophizing, exaggerating the severity of her problems and blaming others for them. The whole drama queen thing, personalization, taking things personally and blaming others for events that are not their fault. So like the sort of inviting attacks things that Sergey does, like deliberately internalizing it seems so that he can just yell louder at the other person. Selective attention, focusing on information that supports her blaming narrative and ignoring evidence to the contrary. Wow, and that's the thing, somebody like Sergey is so smart that he can cover up that he's like Tara. Yeah. Anyway, uh, importance, consideration, complexity, psychological, environmental, biological, empathy versus enabling. It's also essential to avoid enabling her or excusing her harmful action. Okay, professional help, blah, blah, blah. Then I asked, does Tara have undiagnosed autism? She's 60 and they had nothing for her back in her day. Factors that might suggest undiagnosed autism: difficulties with social communication and interaction. She struggles with understanding social cues and interpreting nonverbal communication or maintaining reciprocal conversations or actions at all, I would say. Her potential tendency to blame others and lack of awareness of her own actions could stem from difficulties in understanding social dynamics and the impact of her behavior on others. Challenges with emotional regulation. If Tara experiences intense emotional reactions or struggles to manage her emotions, this could be related to sensory sensitivities or difficulties with emotional regulation, sometimes associated with autism. Difficulties with self-awareness and insight. Lack of insight into one's own behavior and its impact on others can sometimes be observed in autistic individuals, particularly if they have not received support or guidance in developing social understanding. Sensory sensitivities, loud noises, bright lights, specific textures, history of substance abuse, way to cope. What?
She sort of has that celebrity thing too.
Yeah.
He feels that she influences celebrities that they sing songs about her and sing.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah. So she can blame others in a good way. So she can say, "Oh, it's a miracle rather than a badical." Yeah. I see what you're saying. And then
and then the other thing is that she and her husband or her significant other.
Yeah.
The reason she was able to get pregnant.
Yeah.
Is because this guy he was a substance abuser too.
Yeah.
He had like tuberculosis, and then he never went to the sanitarium. He went and just got over it. I don't know how he got over it. Basically.
Well, here's the other thing. Did you know that Sergey and Martin at some point were spending over $200 a month on weed?
I didn't know that. Wow.
Yeah, and then finally Sergey goes to Martin and he's like, Hey, we got to stop spending so much on weed. We're not going to have anything left over for food.
Yeah,
And,
but he could be like her, get
yeah.
medical marijuana.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah, I know. But see, he claims that the medical stuff isn't the good stuff.
Oh, that's not right. That's
Yeah.
not right at all.
I mean,
There-
because the thing is, he'll get like the Delta 10 and stuff like that. The gummies. Uh, and then he'll also what?
Tell me something.
Yeah, I know. All right. So anyway, okay.
There are a lot of people in cities.
Her significant other would take her out when her mother wanted to do something with her, like take her to the
Yeah.
doctor.
This is relevant. So I said Tara generally misses appointments and only is concerned with what is the need directly in front of her. She has no hindsight or foresight, no sense of consequence, black and white thinking. Everything is Satan or Jesus. The additional information about Tara's behavior strengthens the possibility that she may have undiagnosed autism. Poor time management and planning, black and white thinking, limited perspective taking, intense focus on specific interests and ideas, including the everything is Satan or Jesus thing. And then they recommend differential diagnosis, professional evaluation, age, and diagnosis history. Now, about the celebrity thing, I asked it, why would Tara go for a celebrity paparazzo? Tara's potential attraction to a celebrity. Go ahead.
Because
See, it confirms.
the celebrities, and so she models her dad's. Like if you look at her dad and her brother, they look exactly alike.
Yeah, it says thrill seeking and risk taking. Does that confirm? Excitement, danger, constant adrenaline rush.
I don't think she wasn't much
How,
like that.
how about rebellion and nonconformity? Counterculture?
Yeah.
Someone who feels marginalized or rebellious or who enjoys challenging authority.
I don't know about that. I mean,
How about perceived power and status?
she just thought authority should leave her alone because she's the perfect model citizen that if the law got after her, it was because something fair about the law.
Yeah. So she thinks she's above the law. So sense of importance. She feels undervalued. Yeah, and she has a need for attention and validation. Right. Constant attention and excitement. Yeah. And then of course,
she is her children. So what happens is her mother, her significant other, boyfriend, off with the motorcycle, and then especially when the first time that her mom and dad noticed that she was really off the wall was one time.
So this is not just low self-esteem, huh?
Her brain, she connects with celebrities like Roseanne Barr, who claimed that her mom and dad raped her as a child.
Oh God.
So
yeah, it says cognitive distortions and unrealistic expectations, idealization of celebrity culture, and belief in a fairy tale romance. Basically, idealized or distorted view of celebrity culture, believing it to be glamorous and exciting, redemptive.
But she feels somehow that she's like Roseanne Barr, and then Roseanne Barr had to recant what she said about her parents because none of it was true. And I mentioned that to Tara, and Tara said, "Oh, but it." And I said, "No, actually, she said that it wasn't true, and that she had to apologize for it."
Well, the funny thing is, Roseanne has been known as a countercultural icon, but she went from being a left-wing countercultural icon to being a right-wing countercultural icon, incidentally. So, well, what do you have to say about that?
I don't know, but
I'll ask the AI.
Also, there was another. She liked Tom Petty, and she said, "Well, Tom Petty's gay," and then I don't know what else. And then there was a but her brother, the funny thing is about her brother, he's the most educated in their family. He went to art school because Tara is very good at art, and so is her brother. He went to art school and became a teacher, and then he teaches art in schools. And so what happens is, but her brother said, well, he would let, he and his wife would let her stay with him, but she has to go on medication. And Tara thinks it's government conspiracy to destroy her. And she's they're gonna change her name.
And abducted for 30 years in Texas.
Yeah, and abduct her and then change her name, make her think she's someone else. And basically, so I tried to tell her, I said, don't think for yourself that it's not important. My goodness, the law really doesn't care about you at all. They don't even know you. So when I first met her, she said, well,
all right.
I hope.
I'm drinking water. I can give you your own water.
$15 out of a plane, and I can take it and spend it. And then the way she says she's a good mother, but twice I had to rescue her kids from them going out into the highway, and because she was stone drunk and she was getting DDTs. And
what's DDTs? What's DDTs?
Well, she would black out and
So how many times did you have to rescue her like this? Where her kids were like just in the middle of the road with her, passed out. Was it happening twice?
They weren't. She wasn't passed out. She was actually there. From Liz, she wasn't anything.
She was out of it. She was checked out.
She was standing, but she didn't.
Okay.
And so I did it twice. I had to take her kid back to my house, she would be really obnoxious. Grow up in my metaphor.
Hey, can I read you just the headings on this? Okay. Tara's belief that the police will change her name, brainwash her into another identity, and detain her for 30 years in Texas suggests a significant level of paranoia and disordered thinking. Here are some possible psychological explanations: severe paranoia and delusional thinking, delusions of persecution, grandiose delusions, lack of reality testing, cognitive impairment, possibly related to substance abuse, substance-induced psychosis, brain damage, trauma and past experiences, past abuse, betrayal, learned helplessness, possible connection to undiagnosed autism, if applicable, rigid thinking, difficulties with social understanding, sensory overload and anxiety, mental health conditions, schizophrenia or schizoaffective disorder, delusional disorder, fear and anxiety, overwhelming fear, anxiety-driven distortions, lack of trust in authority, general distrust. Okay. There we go.
Well, anyways, told me that when her and her significant other up on the third floor, she left David, as their other son, with his stroller all the way down to the bottom of the steps. And she said she's a good mother. And I said, well, how is that a good mother? And she thinks that her mother stole her government money, and it's only because Tara wants to be in control of the money the government gets her, because then she doesn't have to answer to anybody. She wants to be free to look where she wants and not
Mhm.
answer to anybody. Everybody's been up after her like a motel. And the other thing is, one time she never disciplined her children, so I told her son David, please stand up or else you're
Mhm.
gonna enter on the escalator. You keep trying to sit down. But he sat down finally, and it ripped a big hole in his pants and pinched his rear end. So I had to get him to the emergency room to have his butt sewn up. He had like the escalator closed on his butt. As he sat down, which I told him not to. So, but he was a tough kid. Alex would beat him up, and David didn't David fall.
Tara's apparent lack of disciplining her children could come from lack of modeling or understanding a healthy discipline. Absent or abusive upbringing, lack of parenting skills, fear of rejection, emotional dysregulation, avoidance of conflicts, substance abuse effects, cognitive and behavioral patterns, impulsivity, lack of consequence awareness, prioritizing immediate needs, difficulties with executive functioning and social understanding. Yeah, there we go. All right.
And so the one thing that I really, really liked about her, the mom knows, her son Alex would say, well, draw me a skeleton, and she'd just draw it just like that. And wow, that's really great mothering, Tara. And I did give her a compliment about how she mothered them. And it was very nice and natural to see her help them, develop their art skills. It's not a total waste of being she just, I don't know, like I tried to nurse her.
She sort of has this Jekyll and Hyde thing going on almost, yeah. Isn't that what you would call an addictive personality?
I don't know.
Okay. What's an addictive personality? Okay. Complex and somewhat debated in the field of psychology. Impulsivity, sensation seeking, difficulty with self-regulation, low stress tolerance, novelty seeking, risk taking, low self-esteem, history of trauma, anxiety, depression, ADHD can increase vulnerability, social alienation, not a definitive traits, self-medication, behavioral person. Okay. Okay, does that cause a Jekyll and Hyde type of personality with explosive outbursts of anger?
Another thing about Tara is she's definitely afraid of the mental hospital. Because she doesn't want to go on the drugs.
They struggle to control their emotions, and minor frustrations can quickly escalate in intense outbursts. Addictive tendencies can exacerbate this, as substance abuse can further impair judgment and emotional control. Substance abuse and mood changes can significantly alter mood and behavior, and then, of course, underlying mental health conditions, trauma. Okay, and then what about her sex addiction?
I don't know that she has a sex addiction.
Okay, or her feeling of obligation to give sex to men.
All they have to do is give her permission. She'll do anything they want.
Okay. It's complex, some controversial in the mental health field. It's not formally recognized. Okay.
And she did abort one baby because her mom didn't want her to have a baby.
Yeah.
So was turned inside out because they both took cocaine during the pregnancy.
Yeah, definitely. There's a pattern of substance abuse, and then almost like an addictive family, if you will, like a codependence, if you will. So anything that can become like chemically addictive in the brain should go for it, basically. So maybe she uses sex as a way to cope with emotional pain. She develops a disordered sense of sexuality, experiences difficulties with setting healthy boundaries. Yeah.
I mean, with her,
Mm-hmm.
she has an aversion towards sex, and
Yeah.
then her
How about low self-esteem and fear of rejection or abandonment?
I don't know about low self-esteem either.
All right. What about the idea that she's expected to engage in sex to maintain a relationship, like with the black and white thinking, if you will? Suggests inaccurate thinking about how to do a relationship.
He sees himself as never having sex, even though boys could just fire with fear and then she'll do anything she wants.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So there's sort of like a if you will, a subconscious repressed part of herself, if you will.
Yeah, good. Yeah, the whole thing is she sees herself as pretty pure. So, but then Kathy, her friend Kathy, said they were having sex right in front of me, and she really did enjoy it.
Yeah. Yeah, so alcohol is a central nervous system depressant, meaning it slows down brain function. This can lead to disinhibition, where social emotional restraints are lowered. When inhibitions are lowered, previously repressed emotions, desires, or behaviors may surface. This could include anger, aggression, sadness, or sexual impulses that are normally kept in check. She might have like trauma and dissociation, theoretically. Alcohol can act as a trigger, bringing the repressed parts to the surface. This can lead to sudden and dramatic shifts in personality or behavior. Yeah.
Well, so her mom couldn't do anything with it.
Yeah. Does she have a drunk persona?
A what?
Okay. In the drunk persona, some people may develop a drunk persona where they act in ways they believe are expected of them when intoxicated. This can be influenced by cultural stereotypes or past influence. Actually, Kevin Collin had that too back in the day. He was a totally different personality when he was drunk. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
Well, she thinks somehow that she got out of the mental hospital because she held up a sign saying some kind of ridiculous thing, and then you think she got out of the hospital because of that.
Yeah.
Nobody can be held against their will. So.
Yeah.
So, Tara, continually accuses me of raping children. I don't know why. I think she uses that as a weapon to get her own way. She's her parents. And the first time she ended up in the mental hospital, this is right after I met her. It was her parents were sleeping, and according to her dad, she stuck a over him and started stabbing through the box with a butcher knife, saying, "You rape my children! You rape my children!" And
oh God.
And so he woke up and pushed the box away, and lucky for him, because she almost got him. And then so she had the cops. They had the cops haul her away and put her in Warrersville. And and then the reason I met her was because there was knew called Pete, and his name was Peter Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he knew her from the mental hospital, so he gave her my phone number, and she called me up out of the blue. I had no idea she lived right around the corner from me. And she said, "Hey, Peter gave me your phone number. Can I be your friend?" And I said, "Sure." So I did, I did have an enjoyable time with her then. And I don't know. She wants to bury me in accusations.
Yeah.
And so police took her away, and then she tried to tell the police that he raped her children, and her dad raped her children, and because she makes an association with her dad's brother, who showed his privates to her her niece's children, or her in-laws children. Well, which nothing came about with that. They reported it, but nothing came about with that because he wasn't doing it anymore. And she feels that he should have went to jail, and then she talks about only celebrities like Michael Jackson. How he was a child molester, even though she has no proof that he was a child molester, she'll say he was. And,
yeah. I think it's because she's so angry or whatever that for emphasis she wants to say a lie. Even if she knows it's a lie, she wants to make somebody look as bad as possible. See, because she's trying to, she's trying to hack people, if you will, to get what she wants. Because she's so impatient now, she's given up on doing things the proper way or whatever. And the thing is, she knows she's incapacitated to a certain degree where like she's never going to be able to figure out how to do things the right way in a million years. So that's why she's looking for shortcuts. Does that kind of make sense?
I don't know if I heard it all.
Yeah. She's looking for shortcuts because she doesn't know how to do things the right way. That's all. I mean, or she doesn't want to actually, put action towards doing things the right way because she's not patient enough to go to offices and stuff, right?
Right. Plus, she's very lazy about it.
Yep. Well, that's because her brain checks out whenever it has to do any sort of effort. But that probably has to do with like her anxiety of going to offices because she like her base instinct is saying this is dangerous. I actually have to leave the house and risk falling over because my legs aren't working, or I have to go into an office and risk them putting me away or something. This is always going through her mind constantly, right?
Yeah. So she's really self-important.
Yeah, that's what the analysis here says too. Do you want to Do you want to help me go over my material for Charles? I made about like halfway through, but I'd like to hear like your opinion on it because I'm trying to bring you into our focus group. I don't know if you received the group text message in which I included you, Charles, and Friedman and Alan. But anyway, we're going to look into that, and we're going to try and put together like a work group, if you will. Where'd this go?
What?
Oh, there it is. Psychological analysis. Oh, I'm in it. I'm already in the right thread. Okay. I was at the word please. Yeah. Okay. So I don't know if you've seen some of these text messages, but anyway, blah blah blah. Okay. Charles says I'm the only reason why he was able to escape. I exposed to him since he's too autistic to see it himself. My problem was even though I knew Sergey was manipulating me, I allowed it on purpose to try and learn how it works so I could stop it. I intentionally compromised, thinking I was smart enough to know when to stop. I had even written out a plan on how I would deal with this situation and subconsciously gathered information I could use to eventually destroy him philosophically. I played the long game. All right. Anyway, that's what Charles says. And then his dad says, "Don't forget to show your church this thread." And then Charles says, "I need correction, but you're not giving solid advice." All right. So themes and dynamics, confession of intentional manipulation. So he's talking about he's trying to co-opt Sergei's manipulation, and then grandiosity and overestimation of self. Sender believed they were smart enough to know when to stop. Lost control and lack of discernment. Then I went too far and I realized I didn't have enough discernment to know when to stop. Desire for external validation and accountability. Don't forget you show your church's thread as a striking mission. It suggests a desire for external validation of the experience and potentially seeking of accountability or support from the religious community. Oh! You know what? Charles is saying that to his dad because he wants his dad to show the text to the church in Japan. Because a lot of the people in that church in Japan are like relatively new Christians. So, what do you think so far? Okay, I'll keep going. Self-perceived need for correction. The statement, "I need correction, but you're not giving solid advice," is direct plea for guidance. Uh, and then dependence on authority and seeking support. Yeah. So Charles uses the words, "Please, Dad, give me my support." Suggests a vulnerable state need for reassurance. Seeking external regulation of behavior. Have the elders give you advice on what I should do to stay humble. All right. Psychological interpretations, significant new insights, cognitive distortions, the initial belief in their ability to outsmart a manipulator and a plan for destruction suggests cognitive distortions, such as overconfidence and a belief in their own invincibility in this situation. Yeah. Insight and self-awareness emerging. The realization going too far and lacking discernment demonstrates a growing level of insight and self-awareness regarding their own limitations and negative consequences of their actions. So that's sort of like the kind of thing that Tara doesn't have, like, right? Because like Tara just keeps going and going because she doesn't have any inhibitions. She just doesn't see those consequences, right? And then you were saying that Tara shows invincibility, right? Hello, you still with me? Okay. Just going to finish this off real quick. Shift from control to dependence. The message reveals a shift from desire to control and manipulate a situation to a state of vulnerability and dependence on external authority figures for guidance and support. Interesting. Internal conflict and guilt. Seeking external structure and guidance. Seeking advice from elders to maintain humility. Relationship dynamics with dad. Significant relationship dynamic characterized by dependence and seeking of paternal guidance and approval. Dissatisfaction with current advice suggests a potential strain or unmet needs within this relationship. Role of religious community. The explicit mention of involving the church and seeking advice from elders highlights the importance of the religious community and the center's life as a source of support, accountability, and moral guidance. While these previous messages focus on external judgment and the behavior of others, Chris and Sergey, these new messages represent a significant shift inward. The sender is now focusing on their own flawed behavior, their lack of discernment, and their need for external correction and support. The theme of manipulation remains, but the focus has shifted from being manipulated by Sergei to the sender's own attempts at manipulation and the negative consequences thereof. In summary, these latest messages offer crucial insight into the sender's internal world. They reveal a past attempt at strategic manipulation that backfired, leading to a recognition of their own limitations and a desire for external guidance and accountability. The sender expresses vulnerability, seeks support from a paternal figure, and looks to the religious community for correction and help in maintaining humility. This marks a significant shift from a position of perceived moral superiority to one of self-awareness and need for external intervention. Interesting. So I guess that sort of happens with everybody, right? I mean, like in a Freudian sense, the psychoanalyst used to have to beat the person's ego because the denial came from the ego, right? Yeah. Anyway. Okay. I think I'm going to go now. You seem to be out of it. All right. Bye. Okay. Let me see if I can grab Friedman now. Yep, his phone is on.
Once you see police, show me your hand.
Okay, so now we're analyzing Charles's thing. So the
I'm having a lot of trouble hearing you.
okay, let me try an alternate implement. Give me a second here.
All right, no problem.
Okay, is this better?
Much better, thank you.
Okay, so I'm having the AI analyze Charles. I started talking to Richard about it after we finished up with Tara. I was comparing like some of the Tara stuff with Charles and so on and so forth. Okay.
Very muffled.
All right. Yeah. All right. Is this better?
Not really, unfortunately.
Okay. Yeah. Not sure if I could do say a whole lot more about it. Yeah. All right. Just bear with me. I'll try and speak a little bit slower. So.
All right, thank you. That'll help.
Yeah. So Charles was worried about external judgment, and he was worried about either being manipulated by Sergei or counter manipulating back at Sergei, and then trying to defend me, and then Charles started examining the flaws in himself, something generally that someone like Tara or Sergei can't do. Sergei tries to do it in an intellectual way, but he can't do it in an emotional way. So, yeah. Let's see. So Charles is looking inward, and he failed to counter manipulate Sergei. And so he's now saying that he wants help from his dad and his dad's church, to correct the situation, which is sort of like a 180 because Charles, stopped thinking he had moral superiority. And then, yeah. And then Charles says to his dad, "You don't know what I know, and you are being severely prideful and critical." And then his dad says, "Stop judging, start praying." Then he says, "I know God wants Chris. Everything is convincing me of this." Yeah. Yeah. I need to help my dad into his chair. Okay. So, um, yeah. So, psychological analysis, themes and dynamics, accusation of pride and criticality. Oh yeah, that's the "you don't know what I know" statement. This immediately puts the recipient on the defensive and frames the sender as possessing superior knowledge and a more righteous perspective. Um, so yeah, uh, oh yeah. The whole talking and defense thing. This is a typical father-son thing. So the thing is, Charles is preempting that his dad is going to be difficult about this, and then Charles's dad would be tempted to go on the defensive because Charles' defense is going to be seen as an attack. Okay. Uh, Demand for humility and prayer. The sender instructs the recipient to you need to show humility and stop judging suffering. Okay, so this wasn't his dad saying it to him. This was him saying it to his dad. Okay, so the idea that he's using the word judging and humility indicates he's doing that he's doing a judgment call himself. um, so he's redirecting his dad towards spiritual practices, which is sort of like a deflection because the conflict is between him and his dad, really, and not necessarily even between me and his dad, if you will. Strong belief in divine will. He says, "I know God wants Chris." Everything has convinced me of this. Well, what is everything? I wonder. Uh, Feels divinely guided and potentially resistant to opposing viewpoints. So, uh, so the sense I get is it's sort of like a snowball. The more Charles believes that there's divine intervention, the more he gets resistance, and then that just makes him more adamant that there's divine intervention. I think that's how it works, but I can't confirm. Self-perceived uniqueness and burden. Sender believes, and I'm the only one who is willing to do it. Uh, yeah, the thing is, I got that sense, when I was trying to work with like Tara and Sergey and stuff like that, like going on a limb because of taboos in society. But then that creates a savior complex or a strong need to feel important and needed. So the whole, even like the way that Richard is sacrificing himself for Savannah, right? That's a savior complex thing too. Kind of like what Richard did for his mom, even though he denies it has anything to do with uh, his relationship with his mom. Um, anyway, rejection of criticism and demand for support. The sender explicitly rejects harsh criticism and demands perfect support. Pray and ask God about it. This indicates a sensitivity to negative feedback. Okay, so Charles is trying to look like he's like really calm, and that his reliance on something that he thinks is solid is also supposed to look solid to his dad. Okay. Claim of personal transformation. The recipient responds with, "I'm not the same person you knew back then." Drastic cuts in entertainment, abandoning my card game, hard choices and friendships, newfound respect in the Holy Spirit. This is an attempt to demonstrate personal growth and potentially counter the sender's negative judgment. Oh, yeah. So, like a character report, Charles feels like he's on trial, if you will, almost. Uh, Emphasis on divine guidance. Okay, yeah, religious framing of conversation. So, um, with the assumption that when somebody is really called or guided, that nobody around them understands them. I mean, of course, isn't that the way it always is? Of course, there's potential for misuse, but most of the time we give people the benefit of the doubt, especially because these states are supposed to be like, uh, if you will, self-confirming, if you will, like they're all the facts are supposed to be able to connect to each other properly, if you will. Um, unwavering conviction and sender. Uh, okay, know what I know, not going to compromise. Rigidity in their beliefs. Okay. Psychological interpretations, cognitive biases. The sender exhibits confirmation bias. Okay, I was right. Uh, pre-existing belief that God wants Chris, and potentially the Dunning-Kruger effect, overestimating their own knowledge or understanding. Yeah, moral superiority, divine insight, need for control and influence. Well, I mean, it's because Charles is kind of getting a little desperate because he doesn't have a whole lot of people except me. Um, yeah, yeah, maybe sometime if there's time, I'll bring you to Charles's place. Once my Uber credits renew in August, but I'm gonna have to sit tight for at least like 4 months because of Sergey. Because I wasted too much, trying to visit him and make sure he wasn't going to kill himself after the election. I should have never worried. I should have just realized he was going to end up in a psychiatric program and have like activities and stuff like that. So the thing is, he's taken care of. I mean, Sergey doesn't really need me. I mean, but like that's the thing though. They won't pathologize the transgenderism, and the thing is
Tell
that
me, did they actually remove Sergei's pecker and turn it into a
no, they didn't. He's not there yet. I mean, the thing is, the way, well, see, he's still trying to embrace his dick. There's a phrase in the male to female transitioners, they call it girl dick. Yeah, I know, it's just.
Sometimes they turn a guy's prick into a clit. And make like.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing the surgery they're able to perform with that.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's nuts.
Yeah. Let's see. Defensiveness in the recipient. Okay. Yeah. Recipient's detailed explanation of their personal growth can be interpreted as a defensive reaction to the sender's accusations of pride and lack of spiritual understanding. Okay. Yeah. Highlighting their commitment to religious principles and significant life changes. Yeah. Both individuals operating from firmly held and potentially incompatible perspectives. So one has a strong belief, and then the other is trying to demonstrate personal growth. That's interesting. So, yeah, I would say. So that's the thing. Charles's dad is becoming more legalistic, and Charles is becoming more faith-based, if you will. And so the thing is, there's a mind schism between, say, left brain concepts and right brain concepts. So the right brain concepts is what you use when you can't get exact logic. But like the thing is, Charles's dad is not ready for a miracle because he's using logic and rationality, if you will. Yeah. The conversation is characterized by accusations, demands, and a fundamental disagreement about the situation involving Chris. Okay.
You're coming in very muffled. I can barely hear you now.
Yeah. Hey, is it okay if I take a break to eat and then call you back in like an hour?
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine.
Okay, sounds good. I just want to double check you were still available. All right, thank you so much.
No problem. Look forward to your call.
All right, bye for now.
Bye bye.